Kelly and I just finished tending to the garden. We made sure that all the animals were fed, and now we're getting ready to settle down for the night. As I stand here and I watch the crisp light fall away from the leaves and the trees around me, I'm reminded that the coming darkness, the coming 12 to 18 hours, are going to be some of the most dangerous and perilous times for people following a long-duration emergency. If you have a social disaster, one that drives person against person on a local level, socially, if you have an economic collapse, one that makes it so that every single person is forced into a selfish survival mode, if you have world war, a pandemic, or even just a natural disaster where the haves who are so used to and so entitled to having everything at their beck and call no longer have access to emergency services, their medication, their antidepressants, or their painkillers, and now they start to go out and find it amongst the people. Those hours of darkness, when people are too afraid to turn on a light because they know that other people will be watching, but yet they're also too afraid not to. Those hours are going to be the most dangerous for our community during a disaster. As we look around here, you have so many things to do in a post-disaster event world. You have a watch. Someone always has to man the windows. Someone always has to watch the world around them. Someone has to be monitoring, physically walking your area. Someone has to be actually keeping an eye on your garden, on your well, on areas that can be sabotaged, your solar panels, whatever it might be. A physical eye needs to be there. And when it's dark, how are you going to see? It's during those hours that the predators will come out in droves. Those are the hours that the predators wait for. It's during that time that people will take advantage of the fact that a minority, a very small and minute number of people can fight in the night, can fight when it's dark without flashlights. Because let's face it, if I have to use a flashlight at the end of the day, I'm going to. But I know that it is a beacon of light for everybody around me. I know that anybody who sees that light, and trust me, when you don't have city light around you, you might be in a largely populated city right now and think, well, I can barely see my flashlight when I take it outside. When you don't have that city light around you, that flashlight lights up your entire area. Even a small handheld flashlight can be seen for miles. And it's during those times, during that darkness, that we must be the most prepared. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go out and you have to be so economically endowed that you're able to purchase large perimeter lights, infrared sensors, have an entire security team at your disposal. No, that's not what you have to do. But what you do have to do is be prepared for those 12 to 18 hours. You have to know that that is the time when predators will attack. And there's a couple of ways to do that. One of them, of course, starts with having the ability to turn darkness into light. That's with a flashlight. That comes with its caveat that as soon as you turn on that beacon, now a predator knows where to shoot. A predator knows where to attack. So second, you have things like passive infrared. That's great. It can't be seen with the naked eye. So you're not going to light up your area. But anybody looking through an infrared sensitive camera, anybody looking through night vision is going to know that you're a step above the game, a step above the rest. And what does that tell me? That tells me that you might have some goods that other people don't have. You just rose to the top of a targeted list. The best thing that you can do is try to work as hard as you can to be able to see in the night. Don't despair. Don't think that if you can't get it, then you are in true trouble. Trust me, I have and have had Generation 1 night vision. I stand by it because at the end of the day, like I told you, if I don't have access to a night vision console, if I don't have access to a module, I am going to turn on a flashlight. And that's better. Generation 1 is better than that. I realize now that you probably can barely see me, I'm going to grab my Photonis PVS-14. It is a white phosphor night vision monocular. And I'm going to show you exactly what I can see in the night and what other predators will be able to see. It is near dark right now. We have a 3/4 moon. And as you can see, I'm able to see as though it were completely light outside. I can make the definition of the trees, the leaves. I can see the leaf litter there on the ground. I can see almost as though it's daylight. You can see a campsite here. This is one of our campsites, but it might be a spot on your normal watch and walk routine. You might need to check and make sure that a cache is still undisturbed. You might need to look down at the ground to make sure that there are no obvious tracks through a sand pit or a sand trap. You might need to just see the environment around you to make sure that there are no predators in the woods. Now in comparison, I, looking up from the camera, can't see a single thing. The Photonis PVS-14 is mounted to the front of my camera here, and when I look up, I can't see anything. But through the camera, through the LCD, I'm able to see as clear as day. Now you see there, that's our tiny house. That's our cabin. And I don't have any lights on outside, and I even am employing blackout curtains inside, but you can see the light that is escaping, and with my naked eye I'm able to see a sliver of light escaping over the front door, over the side window, but through the night vision module you can see it light up. It's like a fire there in front of you. Now I want to show you a test here. I want to show you what it looks like when a flashlight lights up an area that you're looking through night vision with. Now that's just a normal mag light, and of course it lights up my area. And you can see the CMOS sensor, or the sensor on the night vision, is doing its job. It's canceling out what could be a blinding or hurtful amount of light. And you see it actually gets brighter when I take it away, and it instantly cancels it out. Now again, it's completely dark. I can see a little bit of the sky through the trees with my naked eye, but honestly I can't make out anything that's in front of me. I hear one of our cats following me down. You might be able to see her come. There she is. That's Gray. It's a male cat, but you can see him right there. Easy to pick him out, easy to define. So he's black. I can't see him at all. He's very dark skin, dark eyes. They light up gold in the sun, but there's no sun to reflect right now. But as you can see, no problem picking him out. I want to see if you can pick up this spider right here. So this spider is against a black recess inside of a chicken coop, and it is completely invisible to me. I'm going to turn up the dial. So I can't see the spider at all with my naked eye, but I saw it through the camera as I was coming up here. The cat decided it was going to help out. Okay, now here is a good example of use. I have a single street light. There is one street light on our entire hill, on the hillside here at the southern end of the Appalachian Trail. This one single street light, look at how it bleeds light into everywhere in the surrounding area. Now, the fall off for that light is right about here. With my naked eye, I can't see past right there. But as you can see, it illuminates the entire surrounding area. It just sets it on fire. You can see it as though it was daylight. So here I'm walking closer to the street light, and you're able to see a broken down semi-truck there with another vehicle, and it just illuminates it. And then when you turn away, you can see that it illuminates the entire road. Now, how are your enemies going to use this? How are people who hope to do you harm, who hope to take what you have, who hope to hurt you and your family? I'm talking the real predators of our world, the people who are just waiting, begging for a disaster to take place so that the rule of law can either be non-existent or temporarily paused, and they can take what they consider to be matters into their own hands. They can start to use the advantages that they have prepared for themselves. They're going to use items like night vision. They're going to use superior firepower. They are going to take advantage of each and every position that they can, and they're going to do this to leave you scared. They're going to leave you unable to react, and they're going to do it quickly. And the only way, just like the only way to combat the evils of men, you have to combat the predators with the tools that they will use to predate upon other people. Now, this is a good example of fact-finding with a unit like this. So my night vision, I chose not to look through the lens for quite a while. So my night vision started to pick up on things, silhouettes and items that were darker than their surrounding areas. And right here, I saw this black item, but I can't discern what it is. And there's a certain amount of distance between me and this item. And I sat there, and I know that there are some black cats down in this area where I'm at right now. And I figured, okay, that's probably a black cat sitting there. Moved a little bit closer, didn't see any movement, looking just off of the item itself. Decided, okay, I'm going to look through the unit, and as you can see, it is literally nothing more than a piece of garbage. So that's the type of fact-finding, that's the type of things that you will do with the ability to see in the dark that other people cannot do. Okay, now Kelly right now is pacing me. I know where I'm going because this is our property, and I can determine getting close enough to trees that I can find a way through the path, through the patrol path on our property. And I know we're coming up on a campsite right now because I can just barely see the white reflection of one of the buckets turned over. Now I see another bucket right here, and you should be coming up on it here in just a moment. Overhead, I know that I have low-hanging trees, and I also have a couple of devices located here in this area, so I'm going to go ahead and skirt underneath them. You should be pretty plainly seeing the bucket now, and the entire campsite that we were at earlier. Now, looking around, I see nothing. I can see trees right here. I see a pine tree right here to my left. I see another pine here in front of me. And then, of course, there are trees kind of scattered throughout the area. I can hear the cats nearby. And I might just be able to make out a silhouette back there behind me. Now, I know that I have an area here that were coming up on a fire pit that I use. I also know that there are some areas you don't want to step out here. But again, this is my property. I know where everything is. And even in almost complete darkness, save the moon, which is making its way through the trees. I'm able to pick out the moon right now through the skyline of the trees. You can likely see more illumination around me because of it. And so it makes it a little bit easier for me because I know the area. Had I not known the area, I would be very hard pressed. I would be taking things very slowly. As you see, I just sidestepped a pit there. I would be taking things very slowly, working at really a snail's pace, making sure that I didn't create any undue noise that would draw attention to me. But if a predator has access to night vision behind me, as you can see, and I do not, I am at a clear and obvious disadvantage. Now, you can get generation 1. You can get generation 2. You can get infrared. No matter what, you need to get something. You need to get something that you have that puts you at an advantage that isn't a flashlight. With a flashlight, you are nothing more than a target. But again, if that's all that I have and all that I can afford, that is exactly what I'm going to use. I'm going to wait until I can positively identify a target from other senses. I'm going to light it up. If I'm smart, I'm going to light it up remotely away from me, that the turning on of the light, the triggering of that sensor doesn't draw attention to me, draws it away from me, but still illuminates my target so that I can attack it. That's what you're going to have to do. You can find Generation 1 night vision on Amazon for anywhere between $100 to $300. And it's going to serve you. It's going to be better than what I have access to with my naked eyes right now, because I can see what's in front of me, but should there be a human being or a mad mother boar nearby sitting next to a tree, I can't discern that with my naked eye. But with night vision, you're able to. Now with something like the PVS-14, you're able to clearly see what is in front of you. You're able to positively identify everything that is there, and you're able to take the appropriate actions. I implore you, please consider something. Please consider, first, every child should have a flashlight. Second, everybody who can afford $100 should have a Generation 1 night vision. And third, as you are working up to that, because the people with Generation 3 night vision will predate upon the people with Generation 1. But as you're working up to that, get towards some Gen 3 night vision. Get towards something like the PVS-14. This Photonis is going to save lives because you are able to see where other people cannot. Go ahead and ask me any questions that you have down in the comment box. If you have a comparable model, I'd like to hear what it is. If you have something that has served you, I would like to know what it is, and so would the entire community. We would be better for it. If you're interested in this model that lets you literally see in the dark, that turns what is darkness for me into bright as daylight, look at the Photonis PVS-14. Ask Robert over at Readymade Resources. I know for a fact he sells these units. Ask him to answer your questions about it. Ask him to say why you need this. Ask him for information on the lives that units like this have saved. And ask him, there's options available. One of the questions I got last time Kelly and I talked about night vision was, I can't afford it, but I could afford a monthly plan. I just don't have the credit card to put it on. I've heard of people go through Readymade Resources with financing. If that's something that you can start on to make sure that you're able to see in the dark, please consider it. I'm going to take another couple of walks here through on our patrol line. Kelly's going to follow behind, and I have asked her to set up some target areas here as we're walking through. And she is going to tell me if I noticed the target or if I didn't, but she's going to see it on the camera. Guys, from our family to you and yours, please stay safe, remain vigilant, and keep watch.